Is anybody else feeling money? I'm feeling kind of money right now. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling kind of money. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bald Monkeys Wrestling Podcast, the podcast right before Money in the Bank. And one of the segments, let's just jump right into it. One of the segments that was on Raw had Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair both beating up Becky Lynch and both holding up the belt that they want to win above their head. And gotta throw it to you, Chris. Go for it. Go start bragging. Yes, of course. Of course it would make sense. I was trying to deflate you a little bit. Did you realize I was trying to? I was like, dude, we talked about collusion for like 20 minutes in the last episode, so it wasn't like you're the only one riding that train. I really think. Yes, I agree. I agree because it's better story writing, right? And I believe that doing that now one would argue with WWE that when you see something like that happen, oh, it means that Becky's just going to retain both belts. Maybe. I think that that's the wrong decision. Maybe she retains one, or maybe she loses both of them. I think though that storyline that we were talking about where, well, maybe there's collusion and they help each other win the titles, and then you can then build the tension between those two at Survivor Series. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of a natural progression. I feel like I can never speak to Becky Lynch, and I feel like I always have to pass it off to the boss, Stephen Hill, who is our resident Becky Lynch expert. What are your thoughts on this storyline right now, Stephen? You mean Ronda Rousey looking to get herself impregnated? Ronda Rousey? Emphasizing that everything else you do is pretty bad. Yeah, just letting you know that. Yes, shots fired across the bow. I'll be honest with the listeners out there this week. Man, I'm so glad that they were in Europe and that everything was recorded and that I could very easily watch clips very early of everything that had happened. Because man, it's been a big tough week for Big Baby Jimmy to keep up with wrestling. It happens every now and then. Luckily, I got these two guys to back me up when it's been a rough week for myself. Yeah, I mean they're my backup. They're not my friends though. Never once. So Raw, SmackDown, I think they were kind of average, as I started to go through them. Like I said, I didn't get to watch much of it. I watched clips. I did a good read through of everything that had happened. Sounded like a pretty standard, Raw and SmackDown before Money in the Bank. Only SmackDown seemed, I don't know, all over the place. Not in a good way. But I guess that's kind of par for the course with these writing teams lately. Do you think when you watch these Raw and SmackDowns that you can, like I had mentioned earlier, like glean who is getting the push to maybe win some of these bigger matches based on how they win or lose in these episodes before? I mean, is anybody like popping out at you like this seems like an obvious like this person's going to win? Oh, was that is that my pick? Is that my? I mean, I hate to spoil, but I think I had spoiled it. Maybe last week, or maybe I had spoiled that it was that the women's pick. But Baron Corbin seems like it makes a lot of sense. It works better. It works better than the Shane McMahon thing. I think. I don't. He deserves it too. He's put in the work. To me, it depends on the continuity of story. And I would say, while I like your guys' Sammy pick, and I don't have zero problems with Sami Zayn winning it, I think it makes a whole lot of sense. But if, as it, we had a short aside with him having to deal with Braun Strowman. But now that he has dealt with Braun Strowman and he has now made himself present in the Money in the Bank match, has he really changed? And I would say it's important that he doesn't change from a story perspective. He is still the guy with the bad attitude towards the WWE universe. And I think that story is important because having him win the briefcase is kind of like him holding the WWE universe hostage, which works perfectly. Perfectly. He can come out and tease a night of cash in and be like, no, that's what you people want. And I don't do what you people want. I do what I want because I am not a slave to the WWE universe. It works with the character perfectly. Hell yeah. I think that the heavens opened up and that I realized that it's possible that Vince McMahon listens to our podcast. Because I had all the hate for Braun Strowman and I had all the love for Sami Zayn and the different things that he was doing, and all of a sudden Braun Strowman's out and Sami Zayn's in. Like, man, somebody's listening to us that has power. Perfect swap out. Well, you ready for wrenches? Are you ready for the wrenches? Because here come the wrenches. Baron Corbin and McIntyre in this last couple episodes have not fueled that fire where Corbin seems to be kind of stealing McIntyre's thunder. Like, that was kind of the storyline that I was basing the Corbin pick on. And I'm going to hold on to it. You know what I mean? Because it's no fun if we all pick Sami Zayn. I don't think that that's fun. I'm going to pick Baron Corbin. I've already said that. But Braun Strowman Braun Strowman could cause some issues in this match. He could come out on this match and screw over all three of those guys. And so if you take Braun Strowman and you have him interfere into that match, then you're basically saying no, none of those three guys are going to win. So if those three guys don't win, then who does? I really don't like that. Okay, 8 people. I want to flesh this out. Let's go through them real quick. Okay, we've got Andrade, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, and Randy Orton. All right, now if I play this game of like the wrench game, then we're saying that Braun Strowman basically eliminates Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and where was I? Sami Zayn. Okay, so those three guys out, right? Andrade and Finn Balor have maybe created a situation or a storyline where they might be battling back and forth for the Intercontinental title because of the matches that were present this week. Correct? So let's say that they eliminate each other from contention just because of that storyline that's already on the build. So that leaves us with Ricochet, who's been the guy who I'm going to push people off of ladders. I'm going to jump on ladders. I'm going to, show over and over and over again that it's going to be me. You've got Mustafa Ali and then Randy Orton. Now, Mustafa Ali and Randy Orton have been doing so many good spots with each other that I kind of get this feeling that maybe they're destined to have another, like a rehash, another program with each other because they make each other look good. Let's be honest. Um, so then that leaves you with just one person, and that's the person who's been saying he's going to win it the whole time, Ricochet. Does Ricochet make sense? The kiss of death. Yeah. Well, I'm still picking Corbin, but it's fun. It's still fun to like. I, I sometimes I want the people who listen to this to understand like the thought process that goes into why we pick the way that we pick. I mean, sometimes we pick with our hearts. If I was picking with my hearts, gosh, I'd be picking, Mustafa Ali and Ember Moon. But I say I'm picking with my brain, so I'm picking Baron Corbin and Sonya. Or I'm sorry, not Sonya Deville. She's not even in the match. Mandy Rose. Sonya Deville should be in that match. That's why I said that. Nikki Cross. Nah. See, I love that storyline. I love that storyline, but I don't. But I want you to emphasize that storyline like you just did. But I don't want you to pick somebody that's not in the match, and then we can talk about it afterwards. Especially if you nail it, right? But but yeah, pick your person. Pick somebody that you know is in the match, and I believe Alexa Bliss has been removed, and Nikki Cross is in. I think it's Nikki Cross. Yeah. Ugh. Oh, and give it to Alexa Bliss? God, that would be a great storyline too. I love it. I think I just love Alexa Bliss. Hi, Alexa. I'm a fan. That would be hella good. Are we doing the same thing where Orton gets jumped and he gets replaced by Dean Ambrose? Yeah, John Moxley. Ah, indeed. We're watching that. Hey, viewers, our listeners, the same thing. We are going to be, we're going to be watching Double or Nothing next weekend. So you can expect a podcast to be full of us talking about those matches. Hell yeah. WCW. While while I agree with the statement, I think it's full of crap, and it's full of crap because of nothing that they have control over. They're going to pick a day, and WWE is going to try to rain on their parade. Straight up. WWE's going for the throat. If they put it on Tuesdays. I mean, they might not put it on Tuesdays. I think that's why they didn't announce Tuesdays. They didn't announce a day, and I think that's because they're trying to feel it out. They're waiting till it gets a little bit closer, and then they're like, okay, now we're going to pull the trigger. It's going to be this day because nothing's scheduled. And then watch WWE, and WWE is they're going to be like a vulture, and they're just going to dive in, and they're going to be all over it. You should be concerned. Ish. Yeah. I mean, I think it's obvious that it wouldn't be as good of a product because let's face it, we've seen some crazy awesome matches out of NXT, but the one thing that's certain is that with the exception of the top few people in NXT, they're not necessarily that great. So the product in the mid card has issues, has a lot of issues. Other than your two people you always expect that may be at the top of that said mid card, who below them is really so good that they can really carry a program? Especially when you have people moving over and moving back and forth. Their best bet, in my opinion, would be to dedicate themselves. If they're going to have 3 live shows, spread out the talent equally across all of them and dedicate themselves to story, because that's what they're not doing, and that's what's this like that's why the Bray Wyatt stuff is working, because they've dedicated themselves to the story and they haven't rushed it too much. And then I mean, I think that was one of the better video segments they've done in the last couple years. Gracious. I mean, that's story. I mean, that's good story. That's like making somebody like they're getting you anticipated for the next episode and the next episode and the next episode because they're showing restraint. And then when they show the payoff, which is like, see, here's the important thing with this Bray stuff. And I know we're probably going to go off on the Bray tangent because I brought him up, but the thing, yeah, oh my, no. It was the creepy Yowie Wowie. So good. Oh, so good. Yeah. The thing about this Bray Wyatt stuff is this. He shouldn't be on the show anytime soon. I think you had mentioned that a few episodes, or maybe last episode, Chris, and I agree. He shouldn't be on TV still. And the next promo that comes out shouldn't be dark at all. It should be right back to the kids stuff. It is important. Do it that way. Show restraint. It's so good. It's working. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna jump as far out and say that I'm gonna be super upset if I think the right thing to do is to show restraint. Now, if they put him out there, it doesn't mean it's not going to work. They just have to be careful. You know, it's you want to know what my dream is? What my dream program for him is? It's that it's you do though you do. Let me tell you a secret. Um, so so yeah, that was supposed to be. It was a joke. Bray Wyatt. Yeah, we wow. Yeah. No, but I like that you said like hold off till SummerSlam because oh my gosh, how great would it be to have the Demon show up at SummerSlam, have him win a match, and then he's victorious in the ring, and here comes Bray Wyatt as this new character. So good. Yeah. If he fought as Mr. Rogers, the Mr. Rogers character, I would love that. I would be so happy about that. Nah, nah, bro. No way. No way. I think that's just writers going. You know what? We can probably take because he always used to say random stuff during his promos, and I think that was just part of the character. So it's like, hey, we could go back. We could go back to a bunch of these promos and like probably find a few promos in a row where we can kind of make this work and say it. But even when he swears to it, I just don't believe it because that is so much of a build for something way, 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 way in the future that the issues that he had with his character before, it's like, why are you going to hamstring your previous character for a character that who knows if you're even going to be in the company to do? I do it. He didn't mean to do it. It didn't make any sense. And so are you going to explain the connection to this new character? Because I don't necessarily see it. I just think it's just there's nothing. It's. But you know what? It's fun. I appreciate him going on social media and having a really good time with the fans because that's what it's all about. Just like that whole Sami Zayn kind of pooping all over the fans. He's playing with the fans. It's good stuff. Keep it up. All is forgiven if he wins the Money in the Bank. All is forgiven if he wins the Money in the Bank briefcase and he holds WWE fans hostage. I love it. All is forgiven. Hate to say I told you so, but I kind of told you so. Remember, my question was like, did WWE know about it? They probably knew about it. Well, well, but I also think that he's a horrible wrestler, so that maybe had something to do with it. I don't know. His ability to hit people with things, I think, makes him more versatile than Hulk Hogan ever was. Leg! Ladders. Body slam! Leg! I think he's going to have a match against Carmella. Maybe we'll have another match against R-Truth. I don't know. Sounds kind of bad to me. I have not seen that for the card. I mean, I've got, well, I mean, I never know how accurate these are, but I'm looking at this card and it's pretty big and I don't see him as part of it at all. God, there's 11 matches on the card. Holy majoli. So pre-show match: Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Which aren't the Usos on Raw? This is what I like to do. I like to think of that wild card rule that everybody's been talking about so much and just ignore that it ever actually existed. I don't even think about it anymore because all it's going to do is make you angry if you think about it. Tony Nese versus Ariya Daivari for the Cruiserweight Championship. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the U.S. Championship. Super solid. It's just another example of WWE not understanding how their own business works. You take two really good workers, you put them against each other and they have a really good match. Wow, that was easy. And then you just you let people enjoy that. It tells its own story. Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back match is what I'm going to call it. It needs to be a full downer match. Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and then let's say I don't know how you would twist it so that Cesaro's not in the match, but Cesaro interferes, and he's obviously aligned with Joe for just the night. It doesn't need to be a full blown thing. And they're both beating the crap out of Rey Mysterio, and here comes Dominic, and Dominic gets choked out in front of Rey, and he can't do anything about it. It doesn't matter if he's ready to wrestle. Can he just take a not really choke out? Like, are we thinking that they're getting ready to insert him into the ring? Yeah, but it's called NXT. So okay, put him in this one match where he gets a spot and then throw him to NXT. He doesn't need to be on the main roster. There's no way. I'd be amazed if he was that good. Even the people that are that good, they still go to the NXT. He looks like he's Samoa Joe's child. I mean I love it. I really I think that's the best. I think that's the best writing opportunity though. Like whether Cesaro gets involved or not, somehow get Dominic involved and have Rey have to sit there and watch his son get choked out, and he really can't do anything about it because he's pretty much knocked out. Joe, all day in that situation. You build it. I mean, it doesn't have to end here. Basically, you haven't even like gotten past the surface of how good Joe makes these like highly personal rivalries go. I don't know that I'm feeling that. I don't know that. I don't know. Convince me. Somebody convince me that Joe Cesaro is good. Yeah, but Cesaro also has this kind of thing where he's not just a ragdoll; he's a skilled wrestler. Oh, but isn't Joe a tough guy who doesn't necessarily get thrown around? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it's doing it for me. Just the idea of it. Yeah. No, I just no. I mean, I can just look at matches on paper, I guess, and whether they do them for me or not, they work for me or not. I just don't. I think that Rey Mysterio versus Joe only works right now because of Dominic. So I think Dominic is very important. Cesaro, I don't see how. What can Joe say to Cesaro that makes me believe that side of it? And then what can Cesaro do? I mean, yeah, he might have some incredible, moment where he, flings Joe around, but do I really feel from Joe's side that that's really going to have that much of an effect, or should it have much of an effect? I don't think so. So I don't know. I can't. It's hard to suspend my disbelief on that one. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's such a stretch. I don't know. I'm not feeling that either. That I I mean, it's a swerve. I mean, I would never see that that coming. It's it's kind of like, remember when Rowan first came out for Daniel Bryan? I was like, what the hell's Rowan doing here? Like that would definitely be one of those moments. Like, what? I didn't see that coming. But I kind of like with the last thing. I don't know that I'm. I don't know. Well, you got to send him to NXT. I mean, if we're really talking, are we talking the story, or are we talking like legitimate? Because legitimate, they just need to send him to NXT and just let him fight people. Like the story, well, okay, yeah. I mean, you can do anything with a story, really. Lately, oh God, yeah, Ellsworth, yeah. He didn't need to be a good wrestler though, not from a story perspective. He's just Ellsworth. I think so. I think so. Given that storyline, we know we sit here when the first time we saw him, when he started showing up with them, we talked about, well, yeah, Dominic's been training to be a wrestler, so like we know he's trying to be a wrestler. He doesn't want to be marked as a bad wrestler, so you don't want to throw him out when he's too green because then people are quick to the WWE universe is so quick to judge wrestling that's not good. And this is including us. This is including us now. We've seen some like epically bad fails that just were like, ugh, and we like cringe a little bit. And it takes us a while to give that second chance sometimes. Gotta be careful with a new wrestler like that. Lucha, lucha, lucha. And see that one of those last points that you made where it's like, well, who knows him better than his father to work against? It's like, but that's not the industry. You got to work against different people. You don't want to work against the person you're most comfortable with. That doesn't help him at all either. Ugh. I ugh. Ugh. That's all I can say. I can't even have words. We've gone down like a path that I just makes me just go ugh. Prince Mysterio, really? Rey Mysterio Jr. 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 Junior 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 Junior. We'll just call him Junior. How about that? Opportunity, opportunity. Oh yeah, Dana Brooke winning Money in the Bank, right? That was never gonna be my. That was never gonna be my my main pick, but I love how much that makes you cringe. the the four. It was a 4-way match where Nikki Cross won. I did not see that part. No, was it good or bad? Of course. She had like the one move where it was like, oh, that looked pretty cool, and then the rest of it was bad.
You know what this women's Money in the Bank match is missing one thing, and that is that there's only one person in the ring that's really good at taking bumps convincingly, and that would be Ember Moon. This match could stand to have somebody like Liv Morgan in it to just take a beating. Yeah, but that's not how Bailey's coming into this match. You know what I mean? I feel like Bailey's coming in as a favorite, which is, yeah. I mean, it's bad enough. It's like who takes? I mean, who takes the eclipse of this group, and do they actually take it well? Well, I'd have mad props for her. Oh, it's great. Ember earned her flippin' money at the Rumble. Again, I pick with my head, not my heart. I heart you, Ember Moon. You're my favorite female wrestler. Period. We stopped at the U.S. Championship match. The next one that I've got listed here is Kofi Kingston versus KO for the WWE Championship. From Sami Zayn. And I'm telling you, that makes no story sense. I mean, I guess you could. I Corbin is Raw, right? Not that that really I mean, it doesn't matter, but I have a tendency to believe that they kind of stick with that a little bit. That they still have these guys that are like quote unquote main show. That's your main show, so you cash in for your main show. I just don't think I just not seeing a cash in happening at Money in the Bank. I again, even if it's Sammy, like And I guess you could make the argument because of the storyline I put out there. You could say, well, he could just cash in, and then he has the belt, and then being the champ gives you the mic time, and then you hold the audience hostage. But I don't know. It's not as compelling though. I almost like it more because it's you're gonna have it twice over, right? I have the briefcase. The briefcase statistically is like, a high percentage that you're gonna have the title. So I hold you hostage, and then I hold you hostage again whenever I do cash it in. No, you don't. Again, I mean, unless you really want to just constantly tease the wild card rule or whatever, the ability, like, no, you don't. Not really. Sure. It doesn't matter. It again, I'm sticking with my storyline on that. If he wins, it's like, why are you questioning so much? Don't tell me when to cash in. How dare you, Steven? How dare you try to talk about wrestling and talk about what I do and try to, dictate what I do. I'll do whatever I want whenever the hell I want to do it. Like, I don't know what the hell he's going to do, but that's the character that he's made, and I think it works. I don't know that he's buried at that point. You can have him have a program with anybody. He could have a program, if for whatever reason he's but he's like Joe. He's KO. He could have a program with anybody. And it's going to be entertaining. Why does what we've got too many people? Why must there always be somebody that's being pushed for a title? Like it's almost like it's a letdown for KO if he doesn't have a title. And on a personal level, it might be, but I don't. But I don't know that the storyline that matters that much. All it takes is all it takes is 30 seconds though, right? All it takes is 30 seconds because if you take away the promo from Rey Mysterio and Cesaro, all that is throwing two random guys into the ring with each other. Isn't that necessary though? To have just matches that are good that aren't necessary. They don't have to be super attached to story because there's a difference, right, between a good match with little story and bad story. Because I think that's what we struggle with. It's not that this story doesn't make sense. Usually it doesn't make sense because it's bad. It's not that, oh, there's just why are these two fighting each other? Like, we don't typically care about that. If it's a good match, it's a good match. Yeah. they've been off and on. Yeah, I mean, and I've definitely in the past, months, they've done really bad at it. They did a little bit better though this week with doing promos with AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, kind of like harkening back to when they're kids and or when they're young wrestlers and stuff like that. Like that works. I think that works. I think that that's better than having them like trying to figure out who the villain is. That's another reason they listen to us, right? Because it's like that really fucking annoyed me at the time. It was like, why do we have to create a villain? It doesn't need to be that way. Well, now it doesn't really look like they're necessarily doing that anymore. It's like, no, here are two guys. They've had a long history of wrestling. They've even seen each other, before. And now, we're going to have an epic match. Like, that's how they needed to build it the whole time. When do their contracts run out? Have they already? Sure, I just don't think it's necessary for the building of the match. At the end of the match, who cares? Go for it. Yes. Yeah. The rebirth of the Shield with its new member, Moxley. How about some Miz and Shane McMahon action? How are we feeling about that match? Oh, I think we're all three in agreement. Why? Why? Yes, we have to pick it. It's our job to pick it. We don't have to talk about it though. We can skip over it. Oh, and I'll skip that one real quick. Roman Reigns versus Elias. Why? Question mark. I've I much like Miz, right? I feel like this is a waste of space. I'm like, this is a waste of space on the card. I hate to say that about their who they consider to be their A people because they were who started off each show this week, but come on. Find me something better than Roman Reigns versus Elias. That's the one I don't want to pick. Like, ugh, why do I have to pick this match? Um, I don't really know. I don't really know. It's kind of a tough match to pick, actually. I could make a feel like I could make a bad argument for either one of them. Either way. What, you want me to make a bad argument, or you want me to? I I guess Roman Reigns. Ooh, ah. Yeah. I think Roman Reigns, it's 10-second match. 10-second match with one Superman punch. I'd actually love it. It would be so ridiculous that I'd just be like, yeah, whatever. Bailey to Belly. From the top of the ladder, it's great. Just like we had said, that had the Superman punch been a springboard Superman punch, it would be a really good move. It would be enough for you to be like, I can live with that. If every Superman punch was that, I could live with that. It's not. Like somebody somewhere, like started doing Superman punches and was like, "Oh, this is such a great move. We should put this on one of our wrestlers." Well, who does it the slowest? Roman Reigns. Okay, put it on him. Moving on, moving right along. Both women's matches, same same person, Becky Lynch, one versus Lacey Evans, one versus Charlotte Flair. It's definitely an interesting contrast, right? I think they've created an interesting contrast, and that is shown in the writing, where okay, you have Flair, who has had a million opportunities, and Lacey Evans, who this is her first opportunity, and I think that they've done a pretty good job of playing that up a little bit. I'm been over Becky, still over Becky. Lose both titles, please. God, you as are there like I wait a second. I think there's been like 50 cash-ins in this show, according to Steven. S- I got it. I know exactly what's gonna happen. Sami Zayn is cashing in against Becky Lynch, and then Bailey is cashing in against Kofi Kingston. They're both ridiculous. It's a Raw title. It's gonna go second. All right, so we've kind of discussed every match. Let's do a quick recap. Um, pick this is a pick recap. Well, we talked about it though, right? I mean, we can discuss it more if you want to. I don't have too much more to say about AJ and Seth myself. You got anything? We didn't. We didn't. Okay. I mean, Seth Rollins. I mean, oh, oh. There's no There's no third person for me to pick. Yeah. Let me think about it. Let me think about it. But we're gonna recap while and go back through it in the order that this website I'm looking at has it. So Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus the Usos. Okay. And you said the Earth Day, correct, Steven? I feel like I agree with that. I believe that Rowan and Daniel Bryan are going to win, straight up, straight up. Tony Nese versus Ariya Daivari for the Cruiserweight Championship. Nese, I this is like the after WrestleMania of Nese, winning or whatever. There's no way Nese is gonna lose. Get out of here, Nese all the way. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. Obviously, we'll emphasize if you want to rant for a second to build your storyline and you go crazy and your storyline goes through, we're going to say we get like 2 points if you nail the story. Does that sound right? If you nail the story exactly. With any, well, really with any of the matches. So if you say, I think it's going to be this match, and then I think, so like for the 50 cash-ins, like Steven will get 50 points for all the cash-ins that he's called. Okay, so Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio. I guess because of that storyline, and I'm going for the storyline on this one as well. I'm gonna say that Rey Mysterio wins via disqualification because Joe disqualifies himself because he chokes out Dominic. Um, because WWE makes sense. You know what? Listeners, that actually did make sense to Chris. It doesn't make sense, but for whatever reason they'll ring the bell anyway. You'll be like, "What? Why'd you get DQ'd for that? That doesn't make any sense." But yeah, that's my pick. Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens. For the 2 points, he's calling the cash in. And I'll give you the 2 point opportunity. You don't have to say who it is, just that it's gonna happen. No, you don't. I'm telling you, don't put names to it because then you're just that doesn't get you 4 points. That's not how it works. That's not the rules I set in place. Just say cash in. Yes, there you go. All right, Chris. We really should write WWE sometimes. I mean, I don't think I could write every storyline perfectly, but there are some that just, they kind of write themselves, and it's like, why aren't you doing that? Never. Kofi Kingston versus KO. I guess I'm just going to be controversial and say Kevin Owens. I ain't going for any storyline because no storyline jumps out at me. KO wins. The Miz versus Shane McMahon. Ugh. I don't know. Miz. I guess. Although it would be great for Shane McMahon to win. That would be the best storyline decision, but Miz, I guess. I know, it's bad. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. On that one in particular, or on the Lacey Evans one? To Bailey. I know. Good. Damn right. I was setting you up. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm proud of you, Steven. Well done. God darn it. Don't do that. All right, Chris. Porky Pig. What's happening here? Becky. Um, I'm going, and this is going to be a double for both of these women's matches, but I'll remind you when we get to the Lacey Evans match. Collusion. I really like that storyline a lot. Collusion between the two blondes, and they are going to both beat Becky Lynch. Charlotte is going to win. There it will be interfered with, but the ref's not going to see it. So Charlotte Flair. Okay. Roman Reigns versus Elias. Okay. Well, eh, eh. No, because then it would be copycatting, which is another thing we can't stand. Not like copycatting after years, like more like oh, we copycatted from Monday to Tuesday. Why? Why'd you do that? Yes. I am going to walk with Roman Reigns. And I'm gonna say, oh my God, am I feeling silly enough to do this? He is going to get the upper hand and beat Elias in under 3 minutes at least. It's going to be very quick succession of Superman punch and a spear or two, and then it's just going to be over. It's going to be very unfulfilling. Okay, women's ladder match: Money in the Bank. Natalia versus Dana Brooke versus Naomi versus Alexa Bliss. I'm sorry, scratch that. Nikki Cross versus Bailey versus Mandy Rose versus Ember Moon versus Carmella. Who's your cash in person? Who's winning? You do realize that having Bailey cash in makes a hell of a lot more sense if Charlotte straight up wins and then just straight up loses immediately. That's a compelling story. It's no fun. I don't like that. I would die a little. I would die a little bit on the inside. But God, it sounds so right to me. Like if you're not gonna go with like that Survivor Series kind of storyline that I was talking about, like these two people collude and eventually they butt heads. gosh, having Charlotte win and immediately getting cashed on by Bailey, who they've already kind of set up this program with, like, for the future, like, that would be just good stuff. Yep. That's what it's all about. Well, my long game story was always this. Mandy Rose wins, and I agree with the turn, right? But it's the long game turn. Mandy Rose wins. She gets the briefcase, and she's got Sonya Deville by her side the whole time. She holds on to it for a while, eventually cashes it in on whoever, and the second she wins, Sonya Deville turns on her. And that's your first program for Mandy Rose. So Mandy Rose is going to win the Money in the Bank. There's no extra story to get me points because obviously that's that's a long game story. So that I know that doesn't count. So just Mandy Rose wins. Men's ladder match: Sami Zayn versus Andrade versus Ricochet versus Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin versus Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Ali. Hell yeah. Um, but I'm not picking Zayn. I'm not picking Zayn. So I'm not going to actually get points for that because I'm calling my original guess, which is that, and I really hate to do this because I'm almost positive Braun Strowman's going to enter himself into this match at some point and screw somebody over. Probably all three of these guys. It just makes sense, right? That being said, Drew McIntyre is going to, at some point, blow through almost all of the competition, and he is going to go up and climb the ladder, only to have Baron Corbin fly up the ladder, knock him off, and grab the briefcase and steal the win out from under McIntyre's nose, which is setting up a program between Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre moving forward. Baron Corbin wins. It's a good story. It's a good story. Probably not. I don't think it's. I don't think. I don't. I don't think Sami Zayn's gonna win. Once I thought about, oh God, Braun Strowman's gonna screw over all three of them. Maybe. Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. I say it's just a straight up epic match between the two of them, and Rollins just wins clean. Um, but it's not over. I mean, I'm and again, that's me talking a long story, so I'm not going for points here. It's not over. It doesn't need to be over. A program like that, once we see one really good match between them, we're gonna want multiple good matches between them, and that's probably what they'll give us. And the last match is Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans. Straight up. Well, it can't be. I mean, he's not going to do a cash in because he already called a cash in. He did. Well, he did do 50 cash ins, but he I would assume if he was going by logic, he would only do 2 cash ins. I don't know. He usually doesn't talk with logic, so I don't really know. He's always in love. He's like so happy right now in wrestling. Like he's the happiest person ever because Becky Lynch is the champ and Kofi's the champ, and that was always who he was in love with. What's that? You're damn right. But you know what I was right about is that that's no way to get ratings. And how have your ratings been, WWE? Yep. You can always. For the listeners out there, I don't have much hair and Chris has no hair. So, yeah. 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 One of us isn't bald. One of us isn't bald. Who's that? The boss? The boss isn't bald. Oh, well, it's monkeys. It's got an S on it. Lacey Evans, again, collusion, straight up, all the way around. I think it's the best storyline to salvage Becky Lynch and to also push just the best story possible. She can win. I mean, she can lose both. And as long as it's like collusion based and it's not her just straight up like losing against one opponent, um, yeah, she's fine. Her character survives. Sure, it does. You think it's bad writing if it's not back to back? She needs to have the matches far apart because she has 2 matches. So one of the matches is going to happen probably really early. So it probably won't even be able to have a cash in on one of them. You think the Raw match is going to be like you really? I don't know about that, man. It's Raw Women's. It might be the headlining match of the night. Huh? We'll see. What to call what the headlining match is, and if you get it right, you get the points. I would agree with that, but I just use simple WWE wrestling logic on the order of the matches. One's Raw and one is SmackDown. As much as I hate to say it, one is more important than another one according to them. Okay, so okay, are they high on Lacey Evans? The easiest way to do this. So we're doing these points based on the order of those two matches. Or are we doing the headliner? Okay. The Charlotte match for me, the Charlotte match is first, the Lacey Evans match is second. This is for just a point, by the way. Chris? Okie dokie. They could very well. They very well could. You can't make a rule like you can't make a rule that takes a point away from me. Ah. All right, assholes. Fine, fine. I say I two matches again. Two matches. She has two matches. Her second match is going to be the final match of the night. So, do I get a point if she headlines? Period, or does it have to be Lacey Evans? Wow. All right. I still I got it. 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 And I'm down for it. I got it. All right. It's gonna be Charlotte Bryan. Now I don't think that you should be. I don't think that you should be. I don't think you should be scared of not having your cash in dream, even with my setup, because I think that the women's Money in the Bank match is probably going to be the first, maybe one of the first matches on the show. That's why you picked it. Yeah, yeah. You got a good pick record too, don't you? I know that's the point. We're all fucking shit at it. We're either, depending on how you look at the glass, we're either like, oh, we're pretty good, or we're pretty bad. We're both. We're fucking average. Did I miss a match? I I I think the women's tag title is just defended against Corey Graves at the announcing desk. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I can't defend it. I can't defend it the last couple weeks because you're 100% right. Oh, the Kabuki Warriors, was that it? They hate women. They hate women. They've Steven just proved it. The women are not great. They're not. They haven't been proving themselves very well. Probably a house show like yesterday. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while. It was back when we were having arguments about them fighting jobbers, which at the time was fine. And if they kept doing that, it would still be fine. But it's not fine at the moment because they haven't been fighting on television. Okay. Against the Kabuki Warriors. Okay. I'm gonna pick the Iconics because they're cheaters and they're gonna make it happen. Steven, what'd you pick, Steven? Kabuki. All right. We've talked for an hour and a half, so we'll do our little ending piece. What we want. Chris, what do you want? What do you want to see? Boom. Dunzo. Steven, what do you want to see, man? Of all the things we talked about, what do you want to see? What do you see? Well, pick one of them. Be specific. Pick something. 50 cash-ins all at once. 50 cash-ins all at once. All on who? All right. I like it. This might shock you, but from our conversations today, what I want the most now is for Sami Zayn to win the Money in the Bank and for him to hold the WWE Universe hostage all day. It's a great flippin' story. It is the best. Like after talking about it, it really is, I think, the best storyline that they've got going right now if they do it right. Other than the Bray stuff, but I think the reason none of us talked about Bray was because it's not time yet. Stay where you are. No Bray. That would be fun. But yeah, oh my gosh, Sami Zayn, win that Money in the Bank. I know I picked Corbin, but I don't care. I'm more than happy to get my picks wrong as long as the product is good, and that's always, always, always. All it is bragging rights for like a week. You know, we give each other crap, and then we reset and do it again. That's how we are. So, all right. That's it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you have a chance, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that like. We like us. Do you like us? So, if you actually just listen to this whole podcast, you'll notice that Big Baby Jimmy's kind of sounds like he's just talking to himself. And that is because we have technical difficulties. Obviously, I fixed it because you can now hear Chris loud,
Hello.
like making noise, and the boss is still there, and he can make noise. Make noise.
Hey, I don't remember being part of any podcast.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't invited to this party.
Yes.
Yeah.
So instead, what we've given you this week was, because I got voted down, I was just going to be like, well, no, I'll just delete it but instead, here it is. You've listened to the whole thing already. I sound like a crazy person. I'm talking to myself. Yeah.
But he had some great arguments with himself.
Yeah,
he really did.
If you made it this far, congratulations.
Know what was happening. Go back and listen and get
you've
the laugh.
won the prize, and just make sure you're clicking the damn subscribe button and the like button, because that was good stuff.
Comment down on the bottom, and we will send you something. I don't know what we're going to send you, but we'll send you something for listening to that entire thing, because you deserve it. You really do.
And 10 points to whoever thinks that we made the correct picks.
Yes.
Blue picked.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for listening. As usual, I'm Big Baby Jimmy. We've got the boss, Stephen Hill, and Christopher. And
It's been a pleasure not being listened to.
yeah, Bald Monkey's out.